This program is designed and produced by the community with the support of TV Cogeco.
Hi, welcome to Up to Date This Week. I'm your host, Bruce McIntyre. With me again is County Renfrew Warden Peter Ramo.
Good morning.
Good morning and afternoon, different time we're on. Peter, we're talking about something this week. You know, it's not the world's most glorious topic, and it's nothing that some people call sexy, but it's a core service of a municipality, and that's infrastructure. Infrastructure renewal, and we hear about all the time sinkholes, sinkholes opening up. That's why they're becoming more and more in the public spotlight. So I want to just do a quick overview of the County of Renfrew, how we receive our money, the budgeting process, and how the delegation of what needs to be done takes place. So let's start at the beginning. How does the county, first of all, budget for our major roads, bridges, culverts?
We have an infrastructure program, and the staff have gone out either themselves or through consultants and have assessed all of our infrastructure, in this instance, roads, bridges, and culverts. And then they've come back and they've put it on a 10-year plan for each of the components, roads, bridges, and culverts. And then they present based on need each year. And then there's an allocation of resources or funding to that. And in some instances, it may be the engineering work that's done this year, and then some property purchases next year. And then, so in a lot of instances, unless it's a big project, it's rolled out gradually over a 3 or 4 year period, ramping up, and that's all charted out for the next 10 years. So we're pretty sure we know what needs to be done. Now, there on occasion, there will be something that springs up that isn't anticipated, and we deal with that through some allocation of reserves or shifting around of priorities.
Okay, and where does the money come from?
Predominantly the taxpayers of Renfrew County, but there is some funding available through the federal gas tax and also through the provincial gas tax. With the latest federal budget, the federal government has agreed to extend the gas tax program, and they're going to annualize it, meaning it'll be increased by an increment similar to the COLA for the next 10 years. So that's great news, because that's all that any level of government wants is consistent funding so they can meet their obligations. And with the number of roads that we have, the kilometers, the differences in the roads, whether you have Petawawa Boulevard or Daniel Street in Arnprior, or you have County Road 34 in my area, which is the last gravel road in the County of Renfrew system. So there's a whole range of roads that need to be looked after.
Okay, and in that process, one thing the viewers may not be aware of, up to about 3 or 4 years ago, the province did send an envelope of money down to make things a little bit easier. That has stopped now, that process.
It was called the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund, and initially it was in the range of, I believe, about $2 million, and it's been taken away as of 2011. Their argument was that they had uploaded some of the costs of social services, and as that was going up, they were squeezing the envelope on the OMPF, the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund, and so it's no longer there.
Okay, and when the time comes, I know what the county's engineering public works department do. They bring the contractors together, give them kind of a heads up what's going to be coming down the pipe. They let them know the project's coming up, and then the bidding process takes place, and the jobs are gone forward. Something that you, as both a mayor, former councillor, and a mayor, as a warden, do you ever get those midnight calls from people saying, "Why isn't my road getting fixed?" And how do you deal with that, knowing the pressures?
Yeah, you do. You get those 3, 4, 10 times a year. More so now as warden from different areas. And a couple times I've gone out and met with them and driven the road. A couple of times just talked to them on the phone. Most times, or by email, you respond and you point out the plan, point out their schedule for 2018, but we'll keep doing periodic patching and making sure it's safe. Most people, when you let them know they're on the list, they may not agree with being in 2018. They may want to be 2014, but for the most part, they're glad they're on the list. And once you explain that and explain the budgets and how many kilometers of road we have and how many culverts and how many bridges, then they start to recognize that it's pretty enormous, and it's a balancing of need more than anything else. And
with the big picture, the county is about over 800 kilometers of roads.
Yes.
County roads, over 200 bridges and culverts. And so it is a big job for the department. Now, some big projects coming up this year. One in your neck, there was the Centennial Bridge.
Centennial Lake Bridge on County Road 65. It's a bridge that I believe was constructed by Cruikshank Construction in the mid 60s for Ontario Hydro, when it was still a Ontario Hydro property, that road. And it needs to be widened by at least a meter on each lane. The walls need to be reconstructed, and the decking. It's most of those bridges have about a 35, 40-year lifespan, the concrete bridges, and this one's well into its 40s. And it's not unsafe, but if you don't do something with it now, it will be unsafe in 10 years. And so it just has to be rebuilt.
You don't want to be on the front page of the Toronto Star of a car falling off. So.
That's right. And we have a program where each one of those structures gets assessed every year, and then there's a plan put forward to fix it.
Okay. And with the process, I know something that's coming down the pipe is Petawawa Boulevard, the growing urban, it's one of the growing urban sprawl in the county, and some innovative things might be coming in. Maybe the viewers know about that.
Well, the county has assessed it with the town of Petawawa and the base, because they're the largest employer there. There's likely to be a traffic circle at some point in that area. We're looking at 4-laning it as Petawawa Boulevard in the next little while as well. And with that, that'll mean some reconstruction of the streets. There's definitely a need for another bridge there as well. So there will be some big things coming into the town of Petawawa, dictated solely by growth and need within the next 3 to 5 to 10 years.
Okay. And one thing we have to caution our viewers, when you're going down a county road or any road, you see the guys out there, and guys and ladies with the signs and vests. This year the county's being very aggressive on safety. I've noticed that there's been a bit of shift. They are more so enforcing, the slow down process, and just making viewers aware that when you're coming up to a project, it's safety first, because the people are out there.
Yeah, it's your neighbor.
Yeah.
You don't want to run over your neighbor. You don't want, or your son's ball coach, or your daughter's gymnastics coach. And they make a valuable contribution to the community, doing a tough job, and we have a responsibility as travelers to pay attention to that.
And as something we'll talk about next time, speaking of travelers, when new people come into the county, tourists and visitors, they want to have good, safe roads to be on. That's a big attractive thing that you don't want people. I know some, when I go traveling down east, you avoid some areas altogether because you know the roads are bad. So you have to make an investment and make it count.
Exactly. I drive to work. Some people pull logs for work on those roads, and other people are coming here to visit relatives or attend events.
There you go. That's it for this week on Up to Date. I'm Bruce McIntyre with Warden Peter Remo. We'll see you next time.